Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel here, and I'm doing something today I should have done probably a while ago. If you've been watching my channel for a while, which I don't think a lot of you have who are probably watching this video right now, I've been doing action figure stuff on my channel like since I started the channel, and I have a ton of figures that some of you may not have seen, some of you have seen. I've been doing some figure stuff recently, and if by the time you're watching this, you're probably now seeing, you probably have already seen the 2 action figure videos I have made just recently. And that just gave me an excuse that I find those were the 2 newest figures I had gotten that I just did videos on for you all. So this is my big bin of every figure I own currently, and I figured I'd go through everything with you guys, show you guys what I have, and just like go over it, you know, like a sort of big mystery box video. So that's what I'm doing today, and I'm just gonna, this is like no particular genre of figure, it's just like random stuff that's been thrown in this box. So I have some stuff on my desk that I'm gonna show you, and then stuff in here. So I think we should just get started in pulling some stuff out and just seeing what's in this box so you can all see what exactly. It's gonna be like a tour of my action figures, which I've been wanting to do for a while. So let's just go ahead and pull out this big guy. I think some of you probably already recognize this. This is Overkill from the original Spawn line. If you're wondering where the comic book is, it's currently out of the packaging. I was reading it. I pulled it out carefully, and it's put in a safe place, but I carefully opened the packaging for this guy just in the back and kept all of his packaging intact because I just really wanted to get him out and play with him. But yeah, as you can see, all of his packaging is still intact, and he is just an absolutely hilarious figure. This was back in the 90s where literally anything could be made into a character or a toy, and it would just work. And that's definitely the case for Overkill. I've always liked his design in the comics, but I gotta say his toy did not translate well. This guy just looks like an absolute doofus. He's just a complete goofball, and his play feature makes it even more so, because his play feature causes his head to shoot off of his body. Yeah, as you can see, his head has been shot off. There's a lot of sculpted detail in there that you can see if my camera will focus. But yeah, as you can see, there's all this robotic and meaty sculpted detail in his head, and you just kind of pop it back in. So he doesn't have incredible articulation, it's just 4 points, plus the head doesn't move. So it's just a goofy toy, but it's just a great toy, and it doesn't have to be something incredible, but the fact it looks so good in the packaging with the comic book, it just looks really great. And just a great figure. The sculpting detail is nice, and I just had to show you guys this guy because he's just an absolute blast of a figure, and he's just so fun to play with. Let's move this box, and we'll do that separately. We'll do that in a sec, but let's do this guy right here. So this is an old one. This is one I did on the channel a while ago. This is I think it's Jazzwares. So it's a Jazzwares Halo Infinite Mark VB, Mark 5B armor kit. So this was released when Halo Infinite was coming out, when that game was like super hyped up. We were getting toys, we were getting like Nerf guns, merchandising. I think there was like a Hot Pocket like collaboration or something. That might have been Halo 5, I'm not sure, but if you watch my channel, you might know that I'm a bit of a Halo fan, and I have a Halo figure. This guy I got used at an antique mall. He doesn't have all his accessories, he doesn't have any weaponry, and he is missing a couple things. He's missing something here. As you can see, there's a piece here that's not here, and he's missing his hands because his hands are supposed to pop out because he's supposed to come with weapons, and he doesn't have his weapon holding hands. He didn't have any weapons when I found him. He was just a loose figure. And I think someone has painted like silver wash all over him. As you can see, there's like some reflective silver, like a dot of silver. But the figure is really great. It's got incredible articulation for what it is. It's not super stiff. His articulation is a little loose in some areas, but that's just because it's a 5-year-old figure. It came out in 2020. But it's a great figure, and I really love Halo, and I love this armor kit. It's the same one used by Noble 6 and Halo Reach. I just love this figure. It's a really nice figure, and I'm glad to own a Halo figure, a Jazzwares Halo figure. We'll stick him down there. Let's do this guy. So this is a Super Saiyan Vegeta model kit figure. I did a little YouTube short that got some traction of this, of me putting this together. I really like this figure. I've never watched a lot of Dragon Ball or read much Dragon Ball. I'm actually trying to read more Japanese comics. I've only ever read Bakuman and Death Note all the way through. Or not Bakuman, Bakugan, I think. But that's it. And I know nothing about Dragon Ball. I just know a couple characters. But I knew about Vegeta, and I liked his design a lot. And this character, it's a really clean model kit. Like, he stays together. Like, most model kits I've gotten usually fall apart pretty easily. This guy stays together. He's got great articulation. He didn't come with any accessories, but that's fine. He came with some hands and an extra face. I really like the look of it. It's a very clean, brightly colored figure. I got to put it together, and it looks great in poses. And he's just a decent figure. I got it at Ross, so I showed that off in my Ross toy haul video. And, you know, it's decent for the price. I got it for like $4 or something, which I think is pretty good to get a whole figure that you got to put together, and it still looks good. So I like this figure. Not much to say about it, though. It's just a little model kit. Another model kit right here. This is one of my first model kits I got. I also did this on the channel a while ago. Any Omega OGs, comment down below. But this guy is okay. I like his red look. He reminds me of like a lobster or a crab. I'm sure a lot of Gundam suits are probably based off of sea animals. Obviously, he's missing some parts. They're probably down in this box. This guy was very fragile. As you can see, I've had to use some hot glue or some super glue to glue his hand back on here because that part snapped in half. He's missing a part here. But yeah, this guy falls apart very easily. He's got great articulation, though, for a little model kit. I think I paid around like 13 bucks for him. I like him a lot, and actually, let's go ahead and do this guy, too. This is the blue version of this character. As you can see, it's the same suit, but this one's blue. This one's a lot bigger. This one's a lot better quality. It came with better parts. It stays together better, and it's a lot larger and it's just like overall better in quality. He's missing a hand. The problem I have with this figure is the hands come out really easily. But I really liked his accessories. He has this little wire that's like a grappling hook that comes out of his arm, which is really cool. The articulation is great. The detail on all the sculpted pieces was really nice. It wasn't too hard to put together. I overall just love this. He's got a ton of crazy little accessories. I did a YouTube short on this guy too. I'll link that down below. But he's got a sword and a shield. He's just overall a cool figure, and I really, really like this guy. I think a little part of him fell off. It's probably his hand. But great model kit. I think those are the only model kits in there that were actually model kit figures. Whatever, but yeah, that's it. This is another old one I did a while ago. This is the McFarlane DC Direct Jim Lee Batman. It's based off of Jim Lee's artwork. I like this figure a lot. I expressed how much I liked it just because of its articulation being really nice compared to like what McFarlane usually does. I think McFarlane usually misses the mark with articulation, but this guy had some great, he had great forward bend and back bend, which is not something I've ever seen with McFarlane figures, and I felt like I could get the leg articulation to move a lot better than usual. And, you know, he came with good accessories. He came with, like, a couple extra hands. It came with a Bruce Wayne head sculpt and a couple weapons. They're down there in the box. But the only problem I had with this figure was the blue was way too bright. Compared to what they were showing on the packaging, the artwork, the blue just did not match. Everything else with the sculpt and the colors matched except the blue. The blue was too bright. But it's a good comic Batman, and I just like this figure, and I've used it in some figure photography stuff. But it's a good, decent blue and gray Batman, and I always love a good blue and gray Batman suit. Let's go ahead and grab out this little guy. So this is one I think I did in the Ross toy haul. If you don't know what Ross is, it's like a resale store where they'll buy up old stock of clothing and things from stores that didn't sell, and then they'll resell it there. And for some reason they had a ton of Loyal Subjects or Royal Subjects Ninja Turtles figures, and I really love Royal Subjects. They make some great figures. The sculpting on their figures is great, and this is one of the ones their series I really like. I've been trying to collect them because they've been selling them at Ross. I only have Leonardo and Donatello, and here he is. But these are the 1980s cartoon figures, and these are really great. Like, they look like the cartoons. They're like very brightly candy colored almost, and they're decent articulation. Like, they actually have like ab crunch, and these shells articulate. So like if you need to get better bend somewhere else and the shell's blocking, the shell has a ball joint in there. I don't know if you can see that. His hand just fell off. But yeah, they came with great articulation, great accessories. The only problem is these legs. They don't stay together very well. Like, that's how far the legs are going to go forward, just because of the way they've designed those leg joints down there. But yeah, I like this figure, and I think there's another one down in here. I'm sure we'll find it soon. His hand just fell down here. There probably are some figures in here that aren't mine. I think my brother has some action figures in here, so if we see those, I'll just move them out. But great set of figures, great colors, great sculpt. Love those. Let's just get this guy out of the way. This is one of my newest YouTube shorts I did, was this Darth Vader, this Black Series Darth Vader. I've been wanting this figure for a while, and I finally just took a dive and bought him at Target. I don't know, he's been in the stores for a while. I've seen this figure everywhere, and no one seems to pick him up. I think everyone's more... Like, the figures I never see there are McFarlane Toys or Marvel Legends that are almost never on the shelves. But for some reason, they usually have a good stock of Black Series figures, and Darth Vader was one of them I wanted. Darth Vader is just one of my favorite villains of all time. Not just because of his design, but, like, he's so iconic, but he's also... I like him for different reasons, and obviously they have Darth Vader. I've been getting way more into Star Wars recently. I've been playing a lot of Battlefront and stuff, and I just beat Force Unleashed, and Darth Vader is really cool, and this figure has some great sculpting detail. This cloth cape is really nice. It's great and flowy. And this lightsaber is really cool too. The blade pops out, and it's got a little hook on the handle, and it's got a little loop, and he's got a little hook on his belt. And if you take this lightsaber loop and hook it on there, it'll stay on there. So that's pretty cool. I like this figure, and I think the sculpting detail is great. The only problem is, like, his face is different colors. Like, that's silvery and then that's black, so I don't know if that's like meant to look like shading of some sort or something, but I don't know. But the figure has great articulation, and it's just a great Darth Vader figure, and I'm glad to have a Star Wars figure in my collection. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much on him because I could make a whole video talking about how much I like that figure. Let's grab this one because this one's just hilarious. Another Ross figure that was not featured in the Ross videos, but I went to Ross more recently and found this guy on the shelf. He was the only one there. It was like $5. It's a Mego re-release of, like, the Penguin. I thought it was just interesting, and I had the first appearance Batman, so I figured this Penguin figure that looked like it was from the old comics would work really nice. Articulation is fine. Obviously, with these Mego figures, I've never been a fan of them. I mean, they're basically dolls. His leg is broken. That's, I think, a thing that gets talked about with Mego figures, is the joints are so fragile, and the articulation is so limited. Like, I can't move his leg up more than that, I think, or otherwise it'll break. He can still get into some poses, but apart from that, he didn't come with any accessories. It's just this figure, and then this like trash bag coat he's got on. I don't know, it looks fine, but it's not the best figure, and I'm sure there are better Penguin figures out there, but just wanted to get that one out of the way. Let's go ahead and pick up this little bin here and see what I can pull out of here. Let's grab this guy. So this is one I think I reviewed a while ago, or I did like a toy haul video a while ago, and this guy was in it from an antique mall. If you don't know what this is a Secret Wars Iron Man figure. This is like one of the first Iron Man figures ever created, I think. It's made in the 1980s, so this figure is like 40 years old, which is insane. I got him used. It was just like the loose figure. He wasn't on a card or anything, so he doesn't have any of his accessories, and his paint is all scratched up on there. But apart from that, the figure is in decent quality. There's just like a couple scuffs, but that's just like dirt and stuff. He's got a little bit of paint taken off there. Apart from that, the figure is just in really great condition, and he's just such a brightly colored, fun figure. I've always loved Iron Man. Iron Man was like the first superhero movie, or no, like second superhero movie I had ever seen as a kid, apart from Spider-Man, and he was like my second favorite. And I've always loved Iron Man, and this is just a silly little Iron Man figure. Look, as I said, there's just going to be random figures in here. It's new stuff and old stuff, but that's definitely a cool one that I've had. Stick them down there. We got some, this is mostly Ninja Turtles in here, so this is an old Ninja Turtle. This is the baseball Raphael Ninja Turtle. He's got a fun little play feature. When you click his torso to the side, you press this little button on the side. Oh, I just knocked my camera. He should do it. It's not doing it for some reason. Hold on. There it goes. So I'm guessing he had like a baseball bat or a baseball glove that would have a ball, and maybe when you click him, he would throw the ball or he would hit the ball with a baseball bat. I'm not sure. But he has a play feature that does that, and you know, you can use it as articulation that only goes one way if you want. But I like the sculpt on it, and I love baseball. I enjoy watching baseball more than any other sport out there, so I just saw a baseball Ninja Turtle and thought that was funny, and it was the only one they had, so it was just like, again, this was an antique mall, loose figure, but it's in good condition. There's like no like dirty marks or paint scuffs, which is interesting for a loose figure, especially when there were so many mass marketed Ninja Turtles toys out there. We got Rocksteady. So this is the original Rocksteady from 1988. I don't know if you can tell on the butt there, it says 1988. I don't have Bebop. I need to get Bebop because I have Rocksteady, but I don't have Bebop. I love Rocksteady. Both of those characters are great. They're a fun duo of just goofy 80s villains. And this figure is just hilarious. I mean, it's a rhino wearing camo cargo pants, so I don't know how much funnier it gets than that. But, you know, you got like basically that fun Playmates body that they did with all their He-Man figures and stuff. So that's really fun. And I got a lot more Ninja Turtles in here. So let's just go ahead and get all of them out of the way. So these are the original, almost the original, Playmates Ninja Turtles figures. So these three are actually the original 1988 ones. This one's a re-release. This one is, as you can see on the back, it should say 2013 Viacom. So this is a 2013 re-release. I got this because I really couldn't sit. I had these guys on a shelf and I couldn't bear to look at them any longer without Leo in the bunch. So I had to get a re-release of them. That was probably in a video. But yeah, these three are the original re-releases. As you can see on their shells are really busted up. But you can also tell that they're the original ones because the original ones have glossy shells, while the re-release one has a matte shell for some reason. I'm not sure. But obviously they're missing their belts and accessories. Again, these were loose figures, but I found all three of them and I was like, okay, I just gotta grab all three because they were like $8 each, and I think that's a great deal for, you know, some action figures that basically made history in the toy world. Great figures. I love colorful figures, and these guys are just really small, fun. You can play with them even now without like damaging them. They're great toys. They're fun. Glad to have this guy, but they're incredible toys and just great toys, and I'm so glad to own most of them. Here we go. We got a Toy Biz figure. This is Iceman. I think this is from the new X-Men line. He's got a little play feature. His little ice thing pops up in the back. You know, he's fine. It's just a decent Iceman figure. I've always liked Iceman, so I got this figure. You know, Iceman, not much to say about him. He's got some cool sculpted detail on these little icy rock parts. But apart from that, it's just Iceman. There's nothing much to say about this figure. He's got some great paint apps on his eyes, and apart from that, that's it. But they like did clear plastic and then painted so it looks icy. You know, that's cool. I think he's got some accessories somewhere down in the box, but you know. Let's put this away and we'll go back to the figures in there. Let's just pick, let's do this. Okay, so this is a cool one. So this is a Funko Pop, and this was back when Alien Covenant was coming out. I love Alien, and this is a really cool story about this because this was back when Funko Pops were really popular before they sort of flooded the market and became less popular. Back in like the 2010s, these were really popular Funko Pops, and there was only 2 Alien Funko Pops out there. There was the Xenomorph from the original Alien movie, which they weren't selling anymore, and it was really hard to find, and the Aliens Alien Queen, which was also hard to find. So this guy was a big deal when he came out because we hadn't got a Xenomorph Funko Pop in years. It had been a while since we had gotten one. So when Alien Covenant was coming out, this guy was a big deal because it was the newest Alien Pop, and it was like we hadn't had an Alien Funko Pop, and this was the only 3. Of course, now we have the Alien Romulus Xenomorph, but it's very rare when we get an Alien movie, and when we get a Pop, it's even rarer. And I remember me and my dad would go to like shopping malls and go in like Box Lunch and Hot Topic and GameStop, like everywhere we could, looking for this little guy. And eventually we found him. We found him in a Books A Million, and I found him on the shelf, and it was absolutely hilarious. And it was the funniest thing because the same day we found it, we found our friend Kyle, which here he is, his YouTube channel. I've mentioned him on the channel before. We met him in the store same day we found this, and he also loved Alien. So we were kind of excited that we found like the only Alien Pop that was made that was new. So that's a fun little thing. Glad to have that. He's got like some paint on him, which is annoying, but that's cool. Let's just pull out this like Orion figure. So the reason I have this figure is because it was like $4 at Target. They were like cleaning these dudes out. There was like 12 of them in the clearance aisle. So I was like, okay, I'll pick it up because like it's a super cheap figure. I actually did some modifications to this guy. As you can see, if I take his head off, I've cut like a lot of his neck off so he has a better look up. Like he can actually look up now. I don't mind Orion as a figure. Oh, his head popped off. Probably should have secured that on there better. I don't mind Orion as a character. I like Jack Kirby designed characters, and I think McFarlane did a good job with this. It's a very bright figure, so that's very fun. I cut up some of his torso, as you can see right there, so that way he has better back bend and better forward bend. So yeah, I mainly just use this figure for modifications because he was cheap and he had this cool thing. It's fine. It's not an incredible figure. It's got some good paint apps like on the boots there. And, you know, it's just a fun-looking figure. The helmet is obviously dorky, but, you know, who cares about that? And he's got this cool thing, so I think that's a great representation of the character Orion. I've read a couple comics with him in it, but I don't know a lot about this character, but I just know that I like this figure a little bit. And, you know, it's McFarlane, so what are you going to do? Let's just go and pull out this guy, because we've already done this guy on the channel before. So this is Monolith. This is... As I've said before on my channel, I'm a sucker for giant figures, and really big hulking figures are some of my favorites just because they're big, but they're sturdy, because that's what I like about the big figures is you can play with them versus something smaller like maybe this guy that might break easily. You have a big figure that you can just hold in your hands and like play around with, which is cool. And you know, that's what this guy is. This is one of the Spawn Mega Figs, Monolith, and I just really like this guy. It's just like a big Spawn-like character. He's got like these giant skulls and he's got chains and stuff. He just looks really cool, and you know, I like Spawn and stuff, and Spawn is one of my favorite comic book characters. So cool figure. He's really heavy. He's not like incredibly heavy, but he's heavy enough, and I got him on clearance. So I did a review on him a while back. That was a while ago though, like last year. We got this guy. I think I did him in a video also. This is like a Nightfall Batman. I really love the Nightfall Batman suit. I love how like it's just so 90s with the big wing parts, and they got that really great. This is a Kenner figure. I think this is around when Todd McFarlane started putting more detail into the sculpt, so then companies like Toy Biz and Kenner really started going into, like, the sculpting of the musculature on this character is a lot better than it was on previous Kenner figures. And you can definitely see stuff like that with the Total Justice line that Kenner was doing. Like, you can definitely tell that, you know, Todd McFarlane sort of traumatized the toy business with his sculpting. And, you know, this is a cool figure. His little cape pops off. He's in great condition. I got him off the card, and I've just been trying to keep good care, take good care of him because I don't want him to get all damaged. Let's go back to the bin here, and let's just do this one. I don't remember the name of this character. This was in the Ross toy review one I did. She's like the 5th turtle, I think. I haven't read a lot of the IDW turtle comics. I've read like none almost, so I don't know who this character is. I just know that whenever they try to do like a 5th turtle, it never usually works. But I think this one works fine. I like the yellow, and this is like the noir version, so she's all gray and black. But she's got a little sword that comes out of the sheath. But yeah, I don't know about this figure at all. It's got good sculpting detail. The only problem I have is like this articulation is weird. It's double jointed, but this like these poofy pants just like it makes it look so weird. So it's fine. It's a cool character. She's got great accessories. I don't know where they are. I think they're down in the box. I think she has an extra head, and they obviously have their articulated bandanas. But I obviously love Loyal Subjects figures, so I grabbed this one, and you know, I pull it out every once in a while, but I don't really do much with it. We got another one. This is one of my favorite Loyal Subjects figures, and probably one of my favorite Ninja Turtles figures, and this is the Dark Leonardo. This guy was insane. I got him at Ross, again, like $10, and this guy is an absolutely insane figure. He has so much sculpted detail everywhere. He has tons of accessories. He came with a ton of extra hands. This one that has this big knife hand thing. He has 2 swords on the back that come out of these little things. And yeah, they come out of the sheaths too. They don't just come out of these loops. He's got 2 knives that also come out. Like, there's so much little detail and a ton of weapons with this character, and you get your articulated bandanas, which is cool. Like, all of that for $10. That's better than most figures now. I've talked about how I don't like McFarlane and Hasbro's pricing for figures just because you're paying upwards of $30 and $25 for an extra head usually, but like, when Loyal Subjects is charging like $20 to $10 sometimes for insane sculpted detail, tons of articulation, and so many accessories, that's just something you gotta give some respect to. And Dark Leonardo is one of my favorite characters. This is the noir version also. I think there's a version where he's green, but I think he looks better with the gray. It works so much better than it would with green. But great figure, one of my favorites in my collection. This is another recent one I just did. This is the McFarlane New Adventures Batman, and I like this figure. It's great for the price. I think it's reusing some sculpts from DC Direct, because this is technically a DC Direct figure as McFarlane advertised it. But I like the angular sculpting, and then the blue in the cape is really nice. I'll link the review to this down below. I don't want to stay on it for too long because there's so many other figures in here. And the last figure in here is the fake Revoltech Deadpool. Yes, this guy appears everywhere. Oh my gosh, I did a review on him like last year, back when my channel first started, and this guy was just one of my favorites. I've always loved Revoltech figures, but I've never had the money to like buy a new one, especially like the official ones, because they're so expensive. But this guy was like $20 on Amazon. He was fake. I knew he was fake, and I knew what I was getting into, but he came in. The paint detail was a little spotty, but apart from that, he's essentially perfect, and he's got so much articulation. He's got a ton of accessories. They're also in a bag down here in this box, which we'll probably find. But yeah, I love the gray suit Deadpool. I wish I had the red suit to go with him, but gray suit is great. There he is. He came with, I made him doing this little eyebrow raise, but yeah, great little figure, and he works nice with the rest of my other ones. So that's all the stuff in that bin. I guess we should go ahead and talk about whatever this Thor hammer is. So this hammer goes to this Thor figure. This one you have not seen yet. So this is a figure I got at an antique mall. It's an old Toy Biz, like early 2000s Marvel Legends figure. This is before Hasbro had Marvel Legends. And I picked him up because I was like, I had walked past him in the store a couple times. I'm like, I don't know. And then I finally just was like, okay, I want to grab him because I like Thor. And I love the classic Thor costume, but he didn't come with a cape. He didn't come with his cape, and he didn't come with his hammer. So me being me, I went ahead and made a hammer out of clay, and I made a cape. So this hammer I made out of clay. It's got a screw for the handle, and I painted the screw in the clay. Yeah, that's what his hammer is. And his cape is even worse, because I took a microfiber towel and I painted it, and then I put wiring in it. I don't know why I did this, but it surprisingly works really well. I put wiring in it so it would be posable. So now he actually looks more like Thor, but without his tape, it's literally taped on. But yeah, I got this recently, and obviously it's a Toy Biz figure, so you got the patented finger articulation, which is funny. That's something that not many toy brands do anymore. The only toy brand I've seen do it is Jazzwares with the Sonic 3 figures. But it's a decent Thor figure. It's definitely dinged up in some places. I think this is definitely some child's figure because there's like paint splotches. But it's fine, it's Thor, and it's a Toy Biz 2000s Marvel Legends figure, so who cares about spotty paint, because all the paint on those figures were spotty. But just wanted to mention how I jankily put together a cape and hammer for this Thor figure. It's coming apart, but yeah, there's that figure. This is one I did a while ago too. I tried to get this into YouTube short. That was before I didn't know how to edit. That was before I knew how to edit and make thumbnails. So this basically, the video was just like me rotating my phone around while filming, and then I did like a goofy voiceover, and then I don't know. It was just watching my old videos is so embarrassing, but I still love this figure. This is like $20 for this figure. You got a ton of articulation. I love Mateus Santaluco's art. He's one of my favorite Ninja Turtles artists. He just knows how to draw the turtles, and these figures, the way they were done, just pictured they made his art in 3D. I don't know how to say it, but they did a great job with them, and they look really nice. This is the only one I have, though. I don't have the full set of the other ones, but I picked up Mikey because Mikey's my favorite. All right, now we're getting into the bagged figures, so let's just get the other two loose ones in here out. This is a Kenner alien figure. This is one of my oldest figures. I got this when I was like a kid, I think, at a retro toy store. And I just love it. It's a scorpion alien, and it's just, look at all that sculpt detail. Of course, it's the 90s, and this is actually where you can see Kenner was doing a great job with sculpting. Look at all that detail. This is a kid's toy, by the way. This was designed for kids. And look at all like the detail on the tail all the way down. Like they really put some effort into this figure, and you can definitely tell there's a ton of great sculpts in the Kenner alien line. But yeah, there's that figure. It's really nice. I'm missing his arm. He's missing one of these little pincers. This one I think fell off, and he also had some chest bursters. I don't know where those went. They shot out of this thing's chest, but it's cool. Great figure, one of my favorites in my collection. And then down here, I got this funny story about this figure. I got this figure at Hobby Lobby for like $3 because he was on clearance. I know nothing about Naruto. I tried watching it one time because some friends pressured me into watching it. I just couldn't get through it. But I saw this guy and I thought, yeah, he's kind of cool looking. So I picked him up and he had some cool articulation and some cool accessories. He had this sword and this fireball accessory, which goes in his hand. It constantly falls out, so I'm not going to try and get that to stick in there. But it's cool enough, and I liked like the purple look of his clothes, and it's interesting enough. But you know, he was like $3, so he's not the greatest quality figure, but it is what it is, and he's kind of just there in my collection too. Oh wait, there's another. Okay, so there's the Leonardo. Yeah. So I'll probably do a couple figures off the top of here. Let me get all the bags out and see exactly what is left, because there's just bags of accessories in here mostly. Okay, I think we could probably finish this out. All right, so let's just do these couple loose figures that are left. So this is a Batman Arkham Asylum Funko Pop. This is back when I was really into Funko Pops, and I played the heck out of Batman Arkham Asylum. I love the Batman Arkham games so much. They were a huge part of my childhood, and they're just some of the best hero fighting games of all time, and this pop is a great Funko Pop. I don't own too many Funko Pops, but I've got a couple here and there that I'll keep on display. This one was one I had up on my shelf for a while. He's just such a good Funko Pop, and I love that little thing. And down here we have so this was like that Kenner line, or that Hasbro line of figures that was supposed to be like if Kenner had made Marvel Legends. And this is the Moon Knight, and I love Moon Knight. This is the only one I have of these. He's so dirty. I don't know why he's so dirty, but this is the only one I have of these, and I'm glad I have him because these are so hard to find now, but I'm glad I got the Moon Knight when I did because he is one of my favorite superheroes, and this Moon Knight is just so good. It's just such a good Moon Knight figure. It's a good toy, but like it's one of the best Moon Knight figures. He's all white, and he's got like some darker gray parts. It's just such a, like even the cape like curves into a moon shape. So just a great little figure, and I love that Hasbro line. That was such a good line of figures. They're just so fun, and they feel very similar to Kenner figures, or heck, even the Secret Wars figures. But this one is definitely a really good one, and I'm glad to have that guy in my collection. All right, let's start with the bags. I think a lot of these have been on the channel before. Oh no, there's more loose figures. Okay, I'm seeing one down here. Oh, okay. I don't know if I've done a review on this guy before. Maybe I did. I don't remember. This is Scarlet Spider, the Marvel Legends retro card back. Scarlet Spider. I really like this figure. Scarlet Spider is one of my favorite characters, and I loved that whole John Romita Jr. line of comics, the whole Clone Saga. John Romita Jr. is one of my favorite artists, especially one of my favorite Spider-Man artists, but he's done such good work before. And this Scarlet Spider, I don't know who designed the costume, but it's such a good figure, and Scarlet Spider is one of my favorite, and it's just a great figure, you know. It's very good. It's got great articulation, but the colors are so nice on it. It's just great, and I just love Spider-Man so much. So there's the Hasbro retro card back one. These two big ones down here are my brothers. These are like big Spin Master toys. This is Bane, and then there's a Batman in there. They got a lot of little accessories, so let's just grab this guy. This is the Shredder, the Royal Subject Shredder figure. I did that in the Ross review. Love this figure. The only problem I have is like some of the paint is really delicate, so it'll scratch off easy. But he glows in the dark, and he's got that big purple cape, so what are you gonna do? He's got good articulation. His chest articulation sucks. It's not good at all. But apart from that, great sculpting, great articulation, tons of accessories, including an extra head. So, I mean, look at that screaming face. So, great figure. Love that whole line. Let's see what else. We got another Hasbro figure. I loved Power Rangers as a kid, dude. There's so much, being a kid was like the greatest thing because there was and especially in the 2000s, there was so much cool stuff when you, like in the 2000s. Like Power Rangers, Transformers, Batman, superheroes, Marvel superheroes. Like I think I got blessed growing up in the time I did because I was growing up like when the Marvel movies were good and when like there was all the hype for all the Batman stuff and then like Power Rangers, and I grew up with Power Rangers for sure, and I just love Power Rangers. And this is the Invisible Ranger, I think. This guy was like $3 at a Ross. Again, I did this, I think we already reviewed this guy. He had some good articulation though and some great accessories, and I just love Power Rangers, so I'm like, I'm just gonna pick this guy up because come on, it's Power Rangers and he looks really cool. He's got like iridescent paint and he's got some explosion effects I've already used in other figures before, but I just gotta say, Power Rangers is peak entertainment for children. Don't ever turn on CoComelon for your kids. Just turn on Power Rangers. You'll learn more from Power Rangers than anything. That's accessories. Oh, I guess I should go through some of the stuff on my desk here, or the thing on my desk. This is King Spawn. He was on my desk. He's been on my desk for a while. I love this figure so much. The wings, the look of it, all of the sculpted detail. This is one of my favorite McFarlane figures, and he came with so many weapons. It was so cool. He's so many weapons. I gave him the shotgun because he just looks so overpowered. These did not come with him. These were some extra chains that either my sister or my brother, they were making like some jewelry for crafts, and they had some leftover chains. So I just took it and put it all over him because I'm like, come on. Spawn with actual chains is the coolest thing ever. And he's got these huge articulated wings. They're on like a ball peg. So, great figure. Love this dude. He's going straight back on my desk. Let's go down here. This is one of my more favorite Spider-Man figures, especially ones made by Hasbro, is this guy right here. This is the Amazing Fantasies 15 Spider-Man. I love Steve Ditko, man. I love Ted Kord Blue Beetle. I love Spider-Man. And for real, Steve Ditko has such a great, like, it's just one of the best Spider-Man looks, especially with like the big cartoony spider and then the more flourishy eyeballs. And then obviously the blue spider on the back. And this is just one of the best ones. He unfortunately is one of the most stiff dang figures that Hasbro has ever made, but this has got to be one of my favorite Spider-Man figures. If they put toe joints on this figure, it would have been even better. And back when my 3D printer actually worked, I 3D printed him this Spider-Man PS4 head sculpt just so I'd have an extra head sculpt, but this is like my only Spider-Man figure that actually is Spider-Man and not like Scarlet Spider, and I still love him. He's got great articulation everywhere, great figure, love this guy. I'm putting him back in the bag so he doesn't get damaged. Let's move this Bane out of the way. Oh, no, is he not? Oh, there he is. Okay. Oh, there's loose figures. Okay, cool. This is the bag of accessories for the Alien Romulus alien, and I've done a video on this. This figure is insane. The value of this figure is something that cannot be beat. You can pay, like, what, 20 to 30 bucks. I actually got a comment on my video that I did of this figure. Some guy said he got his for, like, I think it was, like, 20 bucks at, like, Walmart. It was on clearance, and I'm like, really? Because this figure is incredible. It's a great Xenomorph figure. NECA did a great job. It has a bendy wire tail. It has all the sculpted detail you could want. It is like 8 inches tall. Its tongue mouth thing comes out. If I can get it out. Oh, whatever. We'll leave it. And all of that for like 30 bucks is what I paid for it. And if you can pay 20 bucks for it, that's even better. Plus you get a chest burster and a stand and a face hugger. You get so many accessories. That is incredible. That's incredible value. That's better value than I've seen in most figures now. This is almost import level with the amount of sculpting, the amount of articulation, the amount of accessories, the features, like the bendy wire tail that also is on a swivel. Like, all for 30 bucks. Like, that's import level quality for like basic toy pricing, and that's incredible to me. And this figure is still one of my favorites, and I need to put him on a shelf or something. He's so freaking big, he's so huge. This is a great figure, and of course, look, it's a big figure. I've told you how I love big figures, but great figure, and it doesn't break like the old Xenomorphs used to. I had a Xenomorph NECA figure, and it just broke like everywhere. It was so bad. Oh, here we go. This is an old... Anybody who watched my videos knows about this 2-pack. One of my favorite McFarlane 2-packs because I love Green Lantern. But yeah, here's the Hal Jordan. This is one of the better Hal Jordan figures I've seen made. Only problem is his legs are too small, I think. I don't know. That's just me, but you know. I like this figure. It's based off of the Greg Capullo or the Scott Snyder comics. And I love those books, like the Metal Knights, Dark Knight Metal or whatever. I love that comic, and I love Greg Capullo's artwork, and I love this like classic Green Lantern look mixed with like more modern like comic book, almost like a movie comic book like sculpting. So it's like the classic suit, but you got all these extra details, and it looks really great. And he came with some cool accessories. And also in this 2-pack was Dawnbreaker, yeah, the Green Lantern Batman, which is also just such a cool figure. This figure is one of the best McFarlane figures of all time. The sculpting on it is great, the articulation, the sculpting is incredible, and I just love this 2-pack is one of my favorites. I love green, and I love Green Lantern. And look at all like that cool bat thing, like all of those cool accessories in there. So you get a lot of cool stuff with this, and you get a huge cool display base. As you can see, there's the base for it, but I love that 2-pack, and I did a review on it a while ago. Here's another one of my more favorite McFarlane figures. This is the first appearance Batman. I just say that it's one of my favorites just because I love the first appearance suit with the purple gloves and the pointy ears that go out. And he's got this like bendy wire cape, which just makes posing options even better. I think this is like the best unless there's like some sort of like Mafex version of this figure. I'm not sure there's any other better version of this figure that you can get. There's probably some older DC Direct versions, but if you want like the best articulation for first appearance Batman, this is probably the way to go. I mean, they just got it so right, and all the accessories are really cool too. But love that figure. Already done a review on him. What is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, it's Mewtwo. Okay, there's a little Mewtwo on a stand for some reason. I kind of forgot about that. Okay, there's a Mewtwo. Is this the last figure? There's a couple things, hold on. That's all accessories. Okay, so we got like 2 loose figures, and then a bagged figure left, so. Alright, so we have a green Funko Pop. Yeah, that's not much. It's a tiny mini green Funko Pop. And then we have the Batman Begins Mattel Movie Masterpieces figure. This is like the best Batman Begins Batman figure, maybe. Probably not. I mean, but there's some better versions out there, but like, this was the best. This is one of my favorite Batman figures. The articulation is great. The attention to detail is also incredible. It's got good articulation and stuff, and the sculpting is nice. But the attention to detail I'm talking about is, you see his shoes. You see how one is glossy and one isn't? That's because the glossy one has a tiny little red dot of paint in the middle. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So this little circle-y part here, I'm gonna get something something to point at it with. So let me focus my camera on it. Okay, this right here, this little circle. So there's that one right there. You see that little circle on his boot? This one, it probably doesn't show up on camera very well. There's a red dot of paint in that for some reason. The reasoning for that is because there's this scene in Batman Begins where he presses the bottom of his shoe and this thing pops out and he drops it. And it falls down the stairs and it calls all these bats. It's like a sonar thing in the first Batman Begins movie. Yeah, so that happens, and I think they've painted this red dot on the bottom of his shoe here for a reason. And it's not, like, it's a very visible thing. Like, why is this all glossy and the other one's not? It's probably because it's a sealant of some sort on there. I don't know. That's my theory about it, but great figure. I'm going to stop talking about it and get to the last figure. The final figure in the bunch is this Diamond Select, and as we've seen, the biggest tragedy in the toy community. Diamond Select is no longer getting to make toys. They've gone bankrupt. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen because I love Diamond Select. I love the Diamond Select Hulk figure, but this is one of my first figures that I've been getting more recently, and it's the Diamond Select Venom, and I gotta say it's my favorite Venom figure. I love the McFarlane head sculpt. I love the big musculature and then like the blue wash that they put over him so he's not just completely black, he's blue. This Venom figure is great. He's got good articulation. He's got a ton of insane accessories. I mean, look at this insane head sculpt with like his face and stuff opening up with like that. Like that's cool. That's the coolest Venom figure. And I've actually I 3D printed a head sculpt for him. This is like I 3D printed and painted this. This is a Venom head sculpt based off of the 1990s television cartoon show. The one where he's like blue and red. I don't know if it still fits. Probably it doesn't, I'm gonna say. Yeah, it doesn't really go on there, but you know, it's cool enough. And this figure is really great. It has a ton of cool accessories, and the articulation is good for what you're getting. I think we paid like 30, maybe 40 for him at a toy fair. But yeah, great figure, and I did a video on him a while ago. But yeah, that's all of my figures. Now, I'm not doing the movie masterpiece, or not the movie masterpiece, the movie monster figures, because I've already done the reviews on those. You've all already seen those. But after doing those already, I think this is a good place to end it off. This is basically every figure I've ever owned right there. That's every figure in my collection currently, except the movie monster ones, but those are up on a shelf and I'm not getting them down right now. So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like, because that helps me out a lot, and after getting 100 subscribers, we're just one step closer to getting this channel monetized. So if you could do me a favor, it's free, it helps me out, subscribe and like, and share this video with your friends. You're probably not going to do that part, but if you want to see more action figure stuff, check out my channel and let me know of any figures that I should review. Let me know of any figure things you want me to do, maybe. Just let me know of anything, because I'm up for anything. And I am, check the Discord out. We got some cool stuff going on down there. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.